All right, folks. Here we go. Friday the 10th, we've got a bit of a content-packed morning for you this morning, so we're going to get right to it. Good morning, Rotarians and friends. I'd like to introduce Pastor to Governor Bob Rogers, who's one of our guests today and a presenter of sorts. We'll get to him in a moment. Do we have any other visiting Rotarians at the moment? See any Maggie? No? Okay. How about guests of Rotarians?
President Ian, my guest hasn't yet arrived, but Angela Robichaud from Service Master Sonic hopefully will be joining us this morning. Fantastic.
We'll make sure to catch her when she comes in. And Jeff, I believe you have a special guest here who will be talking a little bit later.
Yes. Hopefully I'm not muted. Yeah. Okay. Yes, we have Cecilia Eggleston is visiting us.
Excellent. And I understand we're going to hear a little bit about scholarships from Cecilia and what that means to her. So yeah, thank you for being here, Cecilia. Appreciate it. Okay, I don't see any other guests at the moment, so we'll move on. Save the dates. We've got a couple things happening this weekend. AJ, I saw you come on. You want to tell us if we got those last two volunteers signed up yesterday?
Yeah, Mike is volunteering to also take some photos and help out with some of the sighting. So we've got all the slots filled. I'm sure more hands the better, but yeah, looks to be a decent day. We'll actually finish out this project. So
that's great. And I know you got a roof on a couple weeks ago, just in time, because I saw that magic little spattering of rain last night. That was very exciting. So, and the request, if people do show up unsigned up, is to bring what?
Well, the most, I think the easiest way to put these up will be a cordless drill and then an attachment that has a 1/4-inch socket. So these little screws or bolts that go into the plastic have that specific size head, and it'll make it much quicker and easier. So
excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that completed, and thank you for organizing that.
Of course.
September 12th, we have the virtual Out of Darkness walk. And when you say virtual, that doesn't mean we're not walking. It just means we're not doing it in a large group. Is that right, Romy?
My understanding is that we're not walking. It would just be an online, and it was really sweet last year. I haven't actually received much communication, but yeah, when it was virtual, it was online production.
I have a suggestion for that. If you're in your own neighborhood, take your mobile, go online and walk while you're interacting.
I like it.
How's that? September 21st, every third Tuesday of the month, we do have our club's board meeting to discuss club business, and all here are welcome to attend and observe the ongoings and decision-making processes of your board. So hope to see some of you there. Looking ahead a little bit, September 25th, we talked about it last week. We have a blood drive challenge. John, last week, I think you wanted to come up with a date specific for our club. Are we still on the 25th, or are you looking at somewhere else?
Well, the 25th is the Eureka Club's drive. And what I'd love to do, if possible, is have us pick a date to host a drive and then invite all the other clubs. Saturday would be great. If folks are into that. So
if you have your calendar there, give us a day right now. We'll make it happen. Okay. If you don't, you can get back to me.
And don't you want it to be a certain time away from this one so we can get all these people to donate again?
Ideally, what we'd like to do is maybe one club a month, and then if folks aren't eligible, there'll be another one coming up the following month. So why don't we say whatever the Saturday in October is?
October's a great month to be giving blood.
Yeah. Sorry, my phone's not cooperating. Let's
okay.
See. How about October 23rd?
October 23rd. All right. We'll make it a date. We'll get it out to the club. And everybody here, it is perfectly fine, and we want people to participate in Eureka Rotary's challenge. So I'm sure there are some who the 25th will be a convenient date, and some who the 23rd will be a even more convenient date. So whichever works for you,
Absolutely.
just get in on either one and give
Or if you
blood.
donate-
We're out for blood.
Or if you donate platelets, you can donate both. So you
That's
can
a
do
great
platelets
point.
every other week.
Beautiful. All right, and then
Thanks.
looking way ahead into October, there is also a virtual walk for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So looking forward to having folks participate. And again, those sorts of virtual events are mainly donation based, but there is some possibility of online interaction with others who share the same interests, and I encourage you to do so. Okay, without further ado, I would like to reintroduce Bob Rogers, our esteemed and very valued guest here, to introduce our newest Polio Plus Society members.
Thank you, Ian. I hope, because I have a different screen here, I hope you can see me okay, right?
Yep, we've got you.
Okay, good, yeah. Okay, so I want to thank you, Ian, once again for honoring me with the duty of inducting an additional 9 members of your club into the District 5130 Polio Plus Society. This brings your total club members now in this society to 14, or 19% of your 74 members. You already know about the Gates $50 million challenge to take advantage of the 2-for-1 offer, and meeting that challenge turns our 50 million into 150 million to help finish the promise he made to the children of the world over 30 years ago, a world free of the polio virus. So, as you know, towards that effort last year, we started this society, and it asked Rotarians to make a commitment to donate a minimum of $100 a year to the World Polio Fund, and to continue to do so until the world is declared polio free by the World Health Organization. Right now, we only have 2 wild cases so far this year. Every week, I hold my breath when the numbers come in, and so far it's holding up. We are looking to complete the job by 2026. It's been 7 months, almost 8 months since the last case. So today it's my honor to induct the following 9 Arcata Sunrise Rotarians who have answered the call and made the commitment to donate that $100 per year to the World Polio Fund. Cam Appleton, Rachel Dam, Bob Johnson, Charlie Jordan, Dustin Littlefield, Jessica McKnight, Craig Newman, Janice Newman, and Jeff Stebbins. Stebbins. I apologize, Jeff. Cam, Rachel, Bob, Charlie, Dustin, Jessica, Craig, Janice, and Jeff, with the continued annual donations of you and other like-minded Rotarians, we are assured of winning the fight to rid the world of polio once and for all. Please accept your Polio Plus Society pin, which I think, for some reason, I don't have a full screen. I think that Ian has it on the screen, I hope.
Yes.
Is it? The pin and your wristband, like the one I'm wearing, and your certificate as symbols of your membership in the Polio Plus, District 5130 Polio Plus Society. Rachel, I have to apologize to you. Due to an error on my part, your pin, bracelet, and certificate did not get included in today's presentation. And for that, I apologize. I have it right here, and I will be sending it back to you with post haste as soon as Terry returns from New York. I imagine it'll be on your October 1st meeting. But I hope my error will not deter your fellow Arcata Sunrise Rotarians to follow your lead towards a polio-free world by also joining the Polio Plus Society and increasing that 19% to a higher number. If you feel so inclined to join the society, let Terry know and she will make it happen. And I'll also email all of you a copy of that form right after the meeting. So, Arcata Sunrise Rotarians, I know you're home, but please stand and congratulate these 9 polio warriors as members of the District 5130 Polio Plus Society. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. It's always good to hear from you. And club members, I'm so grateful that so many of you stepped up following our last induction ceremony. We'd love to do this every other month for the rest of the year. And so, you know, Bob, if you're up for that, we look forward to more members joining the Polio Plus Society and really committing to an annual effort to end this once and for all. I saw Vanessa posted that the pins and certificates that we have at this time are at the Griffins, so drop on by and say hi to Vanessa and pick up your swag. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Bob, for presenting our newest Polio Plus Society members.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. And I'll be happy to set my alarm again in the future to get up and do the same
Excellent.
thing.
On with the early crowd. Okay, let's take a moment. We have over the last few months, we have a lot of new members who haven't had direct exposure to what some of our committees do. And, you know, a lot of that work we do is remote or by email, so it's not incredibly visible, but the impacts are. So Jeff wanted to take a moment this morning and talk about what the scholarships committee has been up to, and he's brought a guest and a video presenter to tell us what the impacts are for those people that we grant scholarships to. Jeff, I'll stop sharing if you want to go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Can you see my screen?
We got it.
Okay, great. So yeah, thank you, Ian. Your slide was actually much better than mine, so we need to talk. I wanted to go over what our committee does. That's Competitions and Scholarships Committee. Up on the screen, you can see the very active committee members. The chairs are Brian Plumley and Jennifer Coriel. You have Randy Mendoza, Julie Elcock, Lori Pryor, Michael Paizen, Dan Johnson, and then yours truly. It doesn't seem to be moving. There we go. So with our scholarship committee, it's mostly heavy on towards the back end of the year. When we set up the meetings for the scholarships, it's super exciting and it's great to be able to meet a lot of the graduating seniors for Arcata High. We give out 2 types of scholarships. We try to specify for the trades or vocational and then also academic. And so we do that. That's usually that is comprised of 3 days of interviews with the students and then selection at the end of the 3rd day. We also have help out with judging for History Day, which is, I mean, it's a 1 day, you get to be a judge and the students are the teachers. So it is just so much fun and a blast. That's usually held up at HSU. And you might hear be asked to volunteer and please do it. Try it if you haven't ever done it before, or if you have, come on back. We also do RILA. And so RILA usually is students are selected from Interact. And I put in here Nick as a star because he's basically works with the Interact kids and just in general, Nick's a star. We also do the top 10% breakfast, and we work with the Sergeant at Arms Committee. And that's where we have the students and parents celebrate the achievements of the Arcata High students for the past 4 years. And then scholarship recipients and checks are announced to the club. We do a pancake breakfast to help the College and Career Center, and it also, the ticket sales goes to culinary. And then we do senior night hosted by AHS, where we announce our scholarship winners. And so with that, that's basically the responsibilities and duties of the scholarship committee, competitions and scholarships. We have Hannah Henry, who is one of the scholarship recipients today. Cecilia, I'm gonna have Hannah, I'm gonna play the video here, and then we'll get a live talk and interaction with Cecilia. So I'm gonna start the video right now. Does anybody from the club have any questions about competitions and scholarships? Okay, I'll start the video. Whoops. Hopefully I will.
We can get a little more volume, Jeff.
Is that okay? Yeah.
The volume on your computer, maybe first.
Okay, yep. Try that.
And if not, we can go to Cecilia too. That's fine.
Okay. So it's the volume on my computer is 100. What I might be able to do, let me see.
Hey, Jeff,
Yeah,
when you share with Zoom, there's a little checkbox in the lower left that says share computer audio. You need to check that box. So if you do a reshare, it'll share the audio.
okay.
Thank you, Amanda.
This happens on a daily
Yep.
basis.
You would think I would know this, but thank you. Hopefully, there we go. So you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. But for whatever reason, it's slow. I'll tell you what, Cecilia, would you like to just hop on and say a few words, tell us what you're doing and how you're doing, and then I'll work out the issues here?
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, as Jeff said, so my name's Cecilia Eggleston. I'm a molecular, cellular, and developmental biology major at UCLA. I just completed my first year. I graduated from Arcata High in the class of 2020. And I'm just about to start my second year. I actually move into my dorms in 1 week, which is very exciting. And I'll be starting in-person classes for the first time. This last year, all of my classes were online, and that did definitely pose some challenges. Like, most of my classes had 200 to 400 students, and that did create a lot of barriers when it came to connecting with teachers, but I was able to get involved with other students virtually. At UCLA, I've gotten involved with several organizations for like underprivileged students, which have provided me a lot of support. It was definitely a big transitioning, going to college and then starting at such a competitive school, but through my support network, I learned a lot of new study and work habits. And this last year, I achieved a 3.8 GPA. Outside of school, a lot of my free time I spent like hiking, exercising, and I think this year I really spent a lot of time focusing on mental health, and then just, which has really taught me how important it was to like give love to your support network and give love to your own mental health. Next year, I plan to start working in a research lab. I'm actually in the middle of applying right now. as well as get involved with a medical news outlet and then some other pre-health clubs on campus. Most importantly, I've been attending seminars on policy advocacy for students who have experienced homelessness, and I want to use my experiences with homelessness and my experiences with policy to do advocacy work of my own. This last year at UCLA, I think it taught me a lot about what I want to do with my career. I want to go to a career in medicine, and since UCLA is such a health-oriented school, it's been very motivational. It's been very inspiring, and I specifically have gotten really passionate about molecular biology. I had to take all my intro biology classes this year, and I just had this amazing molecular bio teacher, and I decided that's what I wanted to focus on. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about myself, but I really wanted to take a moment to express how much gratitude I have for all your support. Without organizations like yourself, I would not be in the position I am today. As some of you remember, I know a lot of the new faces, but I'm independent. I'm doing everything without the support of parents. And so having organization show their faith in me through a scholarship is really touching and helps me believe in myself. So thank you so much for all your support.
So does anybody from the club have any questions for Cecilia?
Cecilia, I know that what our club has given you in a recurring scholarship is a very small piece of a very large bucket that is needed to go to a school like you're attending. In what ways, for the knowledge of our club members at large, does each small part help with your daily needs there at the school?
Yeah, so I'm in a unique position. So since I'm an independent, financial aid covers all of my tuition and housing through Pell Grant, student loans, and Cal Grant. But anything else past that is any sort of living expenses, textbooks, anything like that, that's out of my pocket. So having scholarships makes it so much easier and so much less stressful, not having that financial strain, because that allows me to not have to work always during school, which is that's huge for my academic performance.
Just getting by with the academics can be a full-time job in and of itself. We all know that.
Yeah.
Well done. You're an inspiration to all of us that you're out there doing it, and we're glad that you're finding your path so early in your college career. So well done.
Yeah. Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining today. Okay. Let's see if I can do see if this will work now with
Hi,
video.
my name is Hannah Henry. For those of you that don't know, I graduated from Arcata High in 2018, and I'm currently a senior at Linwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. I plan on graduating in May of 2022. My third year of college, I spent here at Linwood in St. Charles, Missouri. Like I just said, it was my second year here. I transferred after my freshman year due to campus closure, and I was on one of the 3 cheerleading teams in the program here at Linwood University, small co-ed intermediate. Along with being a part of the cheer program, I was a community engagement specialist for Linwood's Center of Diversity and Inclusion. For both semesters, we were hybrid. So we had the option to go into class if we wanted to, or if we wanted to remain online, we could join in on the conference call, or if you wanted to work full time, you could go back and watch the lecture that was happening during class that day or weeks prior. For the first semester, I had a 15-hour caseload. I took Principles of Managerial Accounting, Principles of Marketing, Principles of Management, and Intro to Astronomy with a lab. And then for my second semester, I had another 15-hour caseload, and I took Principles of Finance, Human Resource Management, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and Digital Photography too. I also forgot to tell you that I am a business administration major with an emphasis in management, so you can see my path now with all those classes. considering that this last year was still not normal, being remote by choice, I was able to continue a GPA of 3.48, and I made the dean's list here for the first time. I also had the opportunity to compete. We actually made it down to Daytona, Florida, where myself and the rest of the cheerleading program was able to compete. We didn't have to do anything virtual. We actually got to go and compete in person, and it was life-changing. So like I said, that this year was different in many ways. It was also extremely successful, and I was able to accomplish a lot of my goals. After all of the heartbreak that I had this season prior with having my season cut short and having to be sent home early and having to finish my sophomore year out, it was very successful. I cannot say anything less than that. A lot of the states and universities didn't allow for cheerleading to occur, let alone compete, whereas Missouri and Lindenwood allowed for us to travel all the way to Daytona. And we not only won 1 title, not 2 titles, but Lindenwood came back between the dance team and the cheerleading team with 4 titles. And we broke Lindenwood history. So 2 out of the 3 cheerleading teams that went took first, and the 3rd team took second. And then both of the Lindenwood dance teams that went double titled. Considering I have never been able to compete at Daytona, it was extremely eye-opening, and it was truly a dream come true. As a cheerleader for the last 9 years, I could never have asked for a better experience. Walking onto that stage and seeing the crowd that has been posted all over Netflix with the cheer documentary, it was a crazy feeling. Your nerves, your adrenaline is through the roof. But the minute that music turned on and my body went into autopilot with all the muscle memory and all the hard work I had put in, and then we get to the dance after we had hit an entire routine, 0 deductions, there was no mistakes, it was a completely flawless routine, and having the entire crowd clapping and cheering for you as you're finishing your routine, it is an experience I will never forget. And luckily I have the opportunity to do it again this year. If I had to summarize my 3 years in college, this last year would have been my absolute favorite year. I grew so much as a person. I had so many opportunities to go out and into the community. I was able to be a 50-50 girl at the raceway and build up our program by saying, not only am I a worker for the Worldwide Raceway Technology Raceway, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, or like I was able to promote Lindenwood University as a whole. And I cannot thank Rotary enough for giving me the scholarship that you did, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did and the last 3 years. The scholarship paid for my cheer bill every single year. I have to pay so much every year to make sure that I stay in. Basically, I have to pay for choreography and gear and Daytona fees and so many things. And without that scholarship that Rotary gave me, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford it. And it relieves so much stress for me, and I cannot thank everybody enough, because it's given me an opportunity that I can never take back. So once again, thank you. And yeah.
Okay. And that was Hannah Henry. So yeah, Hannah had many other scholarships as well, and one of those was for cheerleading, and she was in South Carolina, I think, and couldn't make today's presentation due to being in classes. So Cecilia, I wanted to thank you so much for coming today and sharing with the club.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was great to come out.
Yeah. And that's it for scholarships. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, for filling us in on what the committees have been up to and the impacts it has for the individuals that we fund. So that's great to hear about. Much appreciated. All right, one moment here. Let me get back to screen sharing because we've got a bit of stuff to talk about. Okay, the latter half of our meeting today is going to be focused on fundraising. And this is an all call for all of us. We're people of action and we need to take some action. So I'm going to lead you through some of the things that we have done and hopefully intend to do. But this is, in the end, is going to be an open forum for ideas, volunteerism, donationism, and all the sorts of things that really we need in order to fund the things we do, like scholarships, for instance. Summer sale, we did actually really well. We budgeted 2,000. We brought in about 3.4 thousand. And, that was due to mainly strong leadership and organization right up front. We had a few people in particular who took it by the reins and got it going, organized it, let everybody know what was needed. And then several club members showed up to help on the weekend that we did it to make it work. So that we're going to chalk up as a big success. Thank you very much. The golf tournament, unfortunately, we had to cancel due to COVID concerns as, our county re-entered a ramp-up period, especially with the Delta variant, and due to, frankly, lagging signups to actually help with the event. The board and the committee organizing the event decided to cancel. We had budgeted 8,000 for that. Some donors gave funds anyway. Some of the sponsors contributed even though the event was canceled, and we're very grateful to them because that helps close the gap of that funding. So between the golf tournament canceling, but the yard sale being over our expected budgets for income, we were about 5,500 short, plus or minus a little bit, from those two events. Oktoberfest is one of the events we did last year for our first time. That was a drive-up take-home meal. We budgeted 3,000 in income for this event. At this point, we don't know if there's time, who will lead it, the logistics of doing it during COVID. Is it outside and vaccinated only, takeout only? What does it look like? Taste of the Holidays at home, which we did fairly successfully last year. We had budgeted $10,000. Again, very similar questions. Is there time? Who will lead? One of the concerns that we came up with following, evaluating what we did last year was that we went all in with the things that we put into the baskets and did spend quite a bit of money on it. The baskets were well received overall, but we're thinking we can probably do it for lower cost if we do it again. And one of the other questions is, given the time that we're in the second year of businesses struggling, are the donors up for it this year? And please keep all this kind of in your head. We'll come to an end where we're all going to talk. Maggie and Vanessa have been in the background talking about a very special auction, a raffle type thing. And it's not in the budget, so this could definitely help offset the canceled golf tournament. Maggie and Vanessa, do you want to tell us about what you have in mind here? I think it's a great idea.
I think Maggie should go first.
Okay.
I just am providing the bottle.
Which
Okay, so
go ahead, Maggie.
just a minor detail, the bottle. So, I'm part of the Whiskey Fellowship, and they sent out a invite to buy a raffle, buy a ticket towards trying to win a bottle of whiskey. And I said, well, duh, we could do that. And so Vanessa was very, very generous and has donated a bottle that we're going to sell 250 tickets at $20 a piece, and to win this and make some money off that. So Vanessa, do you want to tell them about this bottle?
So this is a 2019 barrel proof bottle of George T. Stag. It's coming in at 124 proof. 24.9. What makes this bottle so valuable is it's sort of impossible to get. So through a glitch in the computer system, I was able to order a few bottles and a couple years ago, and I've just been sitting on them, and this seems like a perfect opportunity. So if you Google it, I mean, the price range is just incredible. It goes up from $1,000 to $4,000. I don't know how much you like whiskey, but I have tasting notes for you. You can come check out the bottle. I don't know what else you want to know.
We'll put together a mechanism. We cannot sell raffle tickets online. It's against the law. So, but we can put it together so that we can let our other Rotarian friends know, and we could sell 250 tickets and make some money. Thank you, Ian.
It sounds like a great idea and relatively simple, mainly because of Vanessa's enormously generous donation to get something of worth to do that. And, she asked, do you like whiskey? Well, it really doesn't matter. A bottle like that is actually an investment at $20 a ticket. If you win that, you can stick it on a shelf for 10 years and turn it around if you want, or really have a good time with a friend who likes whiskey. So it's one of those bottles. And thank you, Vanessa. And Maggie, thank you for, it just goes to show the Rotarian Fellowships is a way to get outside our club's thinking pool and come up with new and fresh ideas that could help our club. So thanks for being out there, Maggie. Another idea we're seeing actually is happening tonight. Santa Rosa East Rotary Club has compiled an online virtual auction. And man, if you go and see their items, it's an impressive list. They've really clearly been working the community for both donated and purchased goods of high value and high interest. And so that's another possibility that we should be looking to. And Charlie, we will come back to how to buy tickets for that raffle. Maggie and Vanessa are organizing that. There's a few rules related to that, so we'll come back to that. Another possibility that, this book has a lot of silly stuff, and this one I looked at it and I laughed, and then I thought, wait a minute. So this is the non-event fundraiser, this really looking within to our club and our friends and family who come to our events. And, looking at this, if somebody's got a quirky way of writing and could make a funny out of it that's meaningful, that'd be another something that we could do with or without the other events we're looking at. So without me rambling on and on and on, my favorite quote of the month was from Maggie, "Nothing is normal now." And I said, what normally happens when things come up to fundraising time? Who takes the lead? Is it we don't have a fundraising committee, so to speak, it's all of us. And she said, nothing's normal now. We need leaders and ideas. So the reality check is if we don't do any more fundraising this year, we'll be about $19,500 shy of meeting our budget. And I've seen the work that many of our committees are doing to organize where and what to spend the money that we earn on in our communities that we serve. There's some enormously important causes that we're contributing to or planning to contribute to. So I'd love to raise this money so we can fulfill on those commitments. So with the questions below that on the screen, the floor is open, and we can use the chat. We can use just unmute your mic and speak, or raise your hand and speak. We're all good at working in a group. The Zoom forum isn't great for it, but we're going to get through it. So ideas, thoughts, and considerations, please. I did see Craig in the chat. You had mentioned that you would take on taste. Did I read that right?
Well, I said I'm much in favor of it because it would, if we were able to do it or pull it off as was done last year, it would keep the community connected with that event we've done for so long and will do again once we have the opportunity. It would just maintain the continuity.
That's a great point. It is one of those events that is so visible in the community each year, and people ask us, hey, when are you selling taste tickets? We want to come. So in order to do an event like that, that's coming up in less than a couple months. It really takes leaders to step in. And, we've had some very strong leaders who repeat year after year, who have institutional knowledge about how it works and how to get it done swiftly and efficiently. But we're also needing new volunteers in that mix. We can't just keep relying on the same people year over year to do the same things. That doesn't fit in with our mentorship model of, if you're the only one who knows how to do something, teach it to somebody else, right? That's the only way to grow our capacities as people in our club. So, and we don't have to have all the answers this morning, but I would like to get back with everybody in the coming week to understand where we stand. Who's up for volunteering to take a leadership position for any of these fundraisers, who is willing to help and assist as a mentee into one of those roles. Looking back in our club's history, is there anything that we used to do that was successful that we haven't done in a decade or more?
Can I say something?
Please, Michael.
And I'll use taste for an example. Those who have done that event over the last few years, if they could put together, for example, a 3-ring binder of step 1, step 2, step 3, so on and so forth. This is how you do this event. Then it could be turned over to the club, and whoever the new people, you have this document that you go through and use for the event.
Hey, Ian, I know there's a couple of hands up there. I think
Yep.
Claire and Lisa got their hands up.
Lisa and Claire, we see you there. Lisa, go ahead.
So I've actually already thought about this with
First two
tasting.
Stags is $1,000 a bottle.
You're still unmuted, Craig. Go ahead, Lisa.
So I've already thought about this and stepping forward and, leading this again, but also having somebody else mentor somebody else as the leader for next year. And I do have a binder already set up. Every year it's a little bit different, but my first initial is to, first of all, I should back up. Last year, because of COVID, once I sent my letter out to the vendors, which was last minute, we didn't send it out in September because we weren't sure of what we were going to do exactly. And Oktoberfest came, and then it was like, oh my gosh, we could do taste the holidays at home. And so when that started formulating, all of a sudden it was like, okay, how do we do this? And when I reached out to the vendors, it was short notice, and they were just overwhelmed with COVID, and some could participate and donate. Others, I realized after talking to them that the only way to get anything in the bag was going to be to give them a little bit of money at their cost of what it cost them to prepare whatever they were giving us. So that worked out really well. This year I was thinking, I would send the letters out now to the vendors to get a feel of what is needed out there, or I'm sorry, how much they would be able to give, and we wouldn't have to put out of our pockets. We still would have to buy the bags. We'd have our participation, but I'm willing to, get a new team together and have somebody chair right with me so that they can take it over next year and, teach them all everything that I know about it. It was handed to me by Ray and Ron, and I carried it on as the actual, Taste the Holidays at the community center. And now we need to move it on to other hands in our club. So that's my thoughts.
Lisa, thank you so much. Lisa, if you know off the top of your head, how many co-leaders or organizing staff do you need to make this happen effectively?
My committee had probably 8 people.
Okay.
There was about 8, and I always had a co-chair. There was someone, but it was different. It was a little bit different because with Taste of the Holidays at the community center, there was a lot more duties, you could say, and then the day of the event, everybody's showing up to participate. And with COVID, for Taste the Holidays at home, we could only have so many people sign up to pack the bags, and everything was there. I mean, it was a little bit different routine, but I still think that, it's possible we could do it this year. Once we decide to do it, then I need to order the bags like right away. So, because that was the thing that took the longest, and then we'll decide on taster glasses and, and the vendors, I have to reach out to them right away. So if anybody's interested, I'm sorry.
I was just letting Claire's hands up. We're going to get to her in a moment. But Lisa, we will, as a club, can we commit to getting 8 people together to assist Lisa in the organizational side of this right here and now? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay. We're going to do this then. Lisa, thank you so much. And by this time next week, we will announce who's on board to help, and we'll get this done. Thank you. Claire, you had a comment.
Yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, I loved the Taste of the Holidays bag last year. I used them as Christmas gifts, and the people who got them, it was really well received. It worked super well. So, when we're thinking about fundraisers, there are some things that are going to happen. The holidays are going to happen. So there are those opportunities to do fundraisers there. People need to eat. And I have a happily volunteering husband who loves to help organize drive-by dinners or dinners, and he is willing to volunteer for Oktoberfest again this year. I would, of course, help him, but he's done a lot of dinners for Southwest Eureka Rotary. So I'm volunteering him with his permission, and be happy to do that. It was fun last year. It really was. And he's already got some ideas for how to make it simpler. Yeah, so happy to volunteer for that. I also think, with Christmas coming up and Hanukkah and other holidays, that, with an online auction, we could also think about having some smaller items that can be, almost like a holiday bazaar online, because we have a lot of members who have, talents and gifts with art and quilting and woodworking and so on, that could be used to for people to shop for Christmas stuff that's homemade and local. So anyway, just a thought.
Thank you, Claire. And if Hyder's in earshot, thank you, Hyder. I saw Marty's face light up when Claire volunteered, Hyder, because Marty knows how hard Hyder goes when it comes to getting in the kitchen and getting it done. So club-wide, this is an opportunity to learn from a great in the world of takeout dinners and Rotary fundraising surrounding food. Aside from those who volunteered just a moment ago for taste, can we get a show of 5 who would be interested in learning from Hyder how it's done in the kitchen? I see Marty. I can't see everybody on screen. There's John. Okay. All right. Why don't we put that on a tentative? Claire, is it okay if we get back to you and Hyder by this time next week? Thank you. And it's funny, you mentioned local gifts from local folks. I was just reading that there are going to be shipping delays, and online ordering is kind of a mess right now. And the Christmas rush is already here. Whatever you make of it, if you're into that. But shop local, well, let's take that a step further. Shop from our club members. How cool would that be if we could come up with a little assortment of affordable gifts for our community from our community? I love that idea. So let's do on that one too. So far it sounds like we've tentatively committed to Oktoberfest. We've committed to taste. We have a surprise raffle surrounding a very amazing donation from Vanessa. Anything else we should consider at this time? It sounds like we might get this done. Any ideas that haven't been put out at this time? Because we do have spring to look into as well.
Ian, I think it's always nice to remind people about the unfortunate reality that we are saving money on breakfast and travel, and to think about, that too, as if people want to pay that forward to the club in whatever amount they're comfortable doing. So
There is a fairly significant portion of our club budget that is designated from member donations. And so if you want to designate your breakfast bucks on a weekly or monthly basis, you can do it right through Venmo. And that, yeah, every dollar that comes in really helps us achieve the things that we want to do and frees our committees up from the worry of, well, we really want to do that one more thing, but is the money there to do it? So consider that in your weekly expenses. You know, if you we're going to spend the money on our breakfast but are not, you know, some of us look at that as well. I'm saving money, but what could we do with that? What purpose could we put it towards as a combined group? So thank you, Maggie, for bringing that up. Any other thoughts in the group? You know, we've got another 5 minutes here of open floor.
Ian, can you hear me? This is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
I am driving. I thought it'd be really cool. I mean, it might be a lot of work, but it could be something down the road. Is I know that restaurants really struggle, but grocery stores are really successful. So it might be fun to like team up with a grocery store and do like a cook at home bag. You know, those meals are really popular, the Hello Fresh and stuff. So we could do a more of a local style, come up with a really cool recipe, and then sell bags to take home and cook or something.
I know we have potentially a taste of spring coming up next spring. Maybe that could be an incorporated part of that, depending on where we are in the pandemic. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I know that Murphy's Market in particular has been very generous with our fundraisers of past, including Taste, and does a great job with their pre-prepped food. So there are opportunities there. Maggie, does the fuzzy one have any particular ideas?
He does, but they're really more not relevant to this conversation, actually.
I'm sure they're food related. So.
Yeah. He's having a tough time. He's got some health issues he's dealing with. So.
Not to put any newer members on the spot, but when you saw our club and met some folks in it and decided to get involved with our group, you know, part of what we do here is raising money in order to be able to expend it where it needs to go. What thoughts do you have as new members who have fresh eyes? You know, many of us have been involved with this club for decades or multiple decades and have been doing the same thing over and over. I'm sure there's fresh ideas out there or thoughts on what you've seen so far. Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's time to get involved. To tell us what you think.
And
I see you there. Go ahead.
Because my funding is limited and, you know, retired teacher, etc. I'm more of a person of wanting to go and help, be involved, you know, deliver the food, you know, the bags of food to the kids, go out on the highway and clean, that kind of thing. We kind of mentioned a couple of things before about, you know, putting together some work parties on a weekend and going to, you know, have people, the community, somebody in the community say, hey, I need some help doing my lawn or cleaning up my backyard or something, and I'll donate $100 to the club to do that if I can get a few people to come. Can we put something together that we, you know, have a dedicated team of workers that will do something like that? I don't know how to organize it.
I don't either, but let's put it on the list. Because you're right, many of us, myself included, are able to be more generous with our time than our dollars. So I think that's a great idea. Holly and, you know, Amanda, I'd see you both here, and or Angela, I'm sorry, and Holly. You know, Angela is just checking us out so far. Holly's coming right up on, you know, being an inducted member, and so with totally fresh eyes from, you know, I don't want to say outside, but haven't really, you know, put both feet in just yet. What does this look like to you when we're talking about this sort of stuff, and what thoughts do you have about maybe other organizations you've been involved with or other events you participated in that did really well for this purpose?
Is my mic working? Okay, perfect. I am so excited to help, but I don't have any great ideas to lend at this moment. I wish that I did, but I put into chat, I'm happy to lend hands and support efforts. I think the Taste of the Holidays is incredibly successful, and I'd love to support that as well.
Excellent. You know, as I said before, part of the reason that we ended up canceling the golf tournament was frankly lack of volunteers. So as we move into these events, you know, they're 1 month and 2 months away. So please be ready, everybody, to step up and step in. When we get that call via the Sign Up Genius or the phone call to tap on the shoulder and say, hey, I know you're good at this, please be ready to come to action. That's really what's needed to make these events happen is people of action. All right. I hope that gives you all food for thought, and I am encouraged that the will is there to move forward with some of these things. That's a huge relief. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody step in to help. You know, we need as much full participation as we can get. Speaking of fundraising, Nick, I know we've got a $100 raffle on the table this morning. Hopefully everybody got their Venmo in who wanted to.
They did. Yep, we got a good amount of people who decided to participate, and let's do this. Let's see what we got. Tons of names today. And our first winner is Barbara. Let's see if you're gonna win $100. $5, I will pay you through Venmo. And let's see who the next lucky winner is. And Tom. Let's see. $5. So I'll pay them both through Venmo. Thank you guys for participating. And next week will be 110.
Thank you, Nick. So in the spirit of what we've just been talking about, this week's haiku, who gives of themselves, shares their time and good fortune, Rotarians do. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for all you do. Be ready to serve.